All right, it's on Texas football. Time for the Texas tailgate.
So bear with us.
Here at the tailgate, there's got to be 500 people here. Longhorn fans. It is crazy right now. I tell you what, Jerry and Matt, our producer on the other end, CJ's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. There's got to be 15,000 plus long in to Wolverine Stadium here later today. Little nippy at times, but the cloud cover, when there's cloud, feels like a nice October morning in Austin. Not a September morning, but an October morning in Austin. A lot of folks out here at the line now at 7 for the Longhorns in favor of them. Come down. I tell you what, the fervor here right now on site is crazy. I had a little fun this morning. Ran into the guys, if you're familiar with Game Day, and the ESPN program is 250 yards away from us. If you see it, one of the things you always see is a Washington State flag at each and every one of these events. My wife Jenny and I stopped in to get coffee this morning. We saw the two guys that are hanging up, or that are hanging the Washington State flag this morning. That's the kind of atmosphere it is here. Big noon Fox kickoff is also in play on the other side of the stadium from where we're at. We've got Quinn's grandparents rock here. We've talked to Michael Kern. There we go. Good stuff. We talked to Michael Kern. The punter's dad came over and said hello, Paul. So good to see him as well. We're having a good time at the tailgate, guys. Jerry, you were out in Jacksonville, Florida last night, seeing some players. Saw some players all week long. What do you got for us before we get going over to CJ and pick him up and talk a little Longhorn football this morning?
Yeah, so guys, tuning into the chat. Obviously, Bobby's connection is going to go in and out. I'll answer all the questions. We'll talk about it a little bit. Line down to 6.5 this morning. So ESPN predictor still at 73%, but line down to 6.5 this morning. So I think it's going to be a heck of a day. It's interesting. I was down at Jamie French's game. I never actually made it to the start of the game. I had 2 lightning delays, and the Sandalwood bus had a flat tire, so I'm not even sure what time the game started. I had to get going to Pensacola. I was going to stay for a half if it had started on time, but obviously it was two plus hours late. But it was interesting. Mike Norvell was there, FSU head coach, and obviously he grew up in Texas. He went to Arlington Grace Prep, and I think he might have a little confidence in Texas winning this game today, for what it's worth, chat. I'll say that. But Jamie French, the interesting thing Jamie French said, we're going to have a video interview with him coming up on Texas football. But one of the things he said to me, I asked him was there Texas talk? Because Texas, he didn't know Texas had never won a major national recruitment in the city of Jacksonville. He had no idea. So when I told him that, I kind of asked him about Texas. How much Texas talk was there before he committed? How much Texas talk there is now? He said the Texas talk started last year after the Bama game, essentially. This was more off the camera after Texas beat Bama and knowing Texas was coming to the SEC. That win over Bama, I think, got kids, either at school or teammates, talking a little bit more about Texas. So I thought that was interesting. We lost Bobby's connection there. Obviously, guys, he'll be in and out. Sorry about that. But I'm here to answer all your questions. We're going to have fun with this for the next 35, 40 minutes here. By the way, if you're not watching College Game Day right now, the best segment going on College Game Day is Nick Saban breaking down what he thinks Texas is going to do against Michigan today. That is Nick Saban's breaking that down right now. But good, UT boy, good morning. Hopefully we get Bobby back here. Jason Wesson, Texas has to win the line of scrimmage and avoid turnovers. Texas 23, Michigan 16. I have Texas 27-20. And I do agree with that. First down run defense is everything in this game, and then win the turnover battle or be even. I think those are keys. I think Texas pass protection will hold up okay. I'm not sure it's saying it's going to be great. I think they'll hold up okay. But again, first down run defense is going to be the key for Texas overall, and then at least being even in the turnover battle. So if you're there at the tailgate, or if you're in Ann Arbor, check in with this man. Miles says just win, baby. Max Muller says it's all about the turnovers. I agree. There's something we just got coming in. CJ Vogel just sent in the roster for today. Who made the trip? Who didn't make the trip? And then we're going to get to see if there's any depth chart changes in this game. So CJ Vogel's sending those over to us right now. Before we get into this, while we're searching a little bit for Bobby's connection, I'm going to take a second to thank a couple of our sponsors. The first one is South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge. Hey, Texas fans, score an easy extra point this season when you get to the South Point. Then when you get to the point at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock, and their award-winning sales staff doesn't do games or gimmicks. They just get straight to the point by getting you the best deal. So score big today at South Point Dodge. Come see us off I-35 in South Austin or at southpointdodge.com. Get to the point at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge is Austin's automotive everything. Looking to sell your car? Get South Point's best offer over the phone or online. All right, guys, we're going to be taking a lot of your questions here. CJ Vogel is going to join us. Albert Pohl has an interesting one here. It wouldn't surprise me if Cole Hudson gets a start over DJ Campbell. I'm not even sure it matters who starts, but I think Cole Hudson was the best guard last week for Texas, week 1. So I continue to say this. I mean, DJ Campbell, pass pro, he's got to hit it. I mean, he's got to hit it on pass pro. He's got to have a really good day in pass pro. If he struggles there, you will see even more Cole Hudson, in my opinion. Remember last year in the Alabama game, DJ Campbell was a starter, but Cole Hudson played more reps in that game. Then Cole Hudson went down with injury. So that's something to watch there. What step is DJ Campbell going to take in pass protection in year 2 as a starter? We're going to find out today. Last week was not a test. Colorado State did not have a good defensive front. That was actually the weakness of their defense. This week, it's total opposite. So big day for DJ Campbell. And I'm texting real quick. CJ Vogel will tell me he can jump in whenever he wants. So we're going to get this going. And I want to take, again, you questions today. Texas Jasper agreed, Jerry. He's got attack point. His attack point with good feet. Yes, DJ Campbell can't lunge, can't bend at the waist. Jesse James asks, how will our D-line hold up against the run? You know, I think that's going to be the whole key for Texas, especially on first down. If Michigan establishes the line of scrimmage on first down, then they dictate the game offensively. If Texas is solid on first down run defense in the margins, 2 or 3 yards, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4 versus 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8 is all the difference in the world for how Michigan has to call the game, in my opinion. So first down run defense is everything for Texas in this game. And it'll be interesting. Last week, Colorado State, we talked about it. Colorado State had a 100-yard rusher, right? Some of that was late. I think they gave up, 41 yards rushing in the first half or something like that. But Colorado State got a little bit of push. Texas just had better athletes. They cleaned everything up better. They were the better football team, the bigger team, the more athletic team. Texas is going to have to hold the point of attack, to me, on first downs a little better this week, or a lot better. But I'll tell you this about Michigan's offensive line. The weakness of their offensive line last week was guard, center, guard. That was not the case last season. They're okay at tackle. Guard, center, guard. How much improvement does Michigan make week 2? That's a big, big deal for the Wolverines this week, is how much improvement they make guard, center, guard. I think we have Bobby back. Bobby, are you back?
Hey, guys. I tell you what, that gives you an idea of just how many people are online right now here at the stadium. It's supposed to be 110,000 plus. Sorry about that, Jerry. Didn't mean to skip out on you there. Hope everything's going well. Longhorn fans just did Texas fight about 5 minutes ago. I think that may have tripped the cord over here. There's a good 500. What do you think, Arthur? 500 to 1,000 people here? Arthur doesn't know. He's had too many Bloody Marys this morning to count people, but a lot of folks going on. The sun is now out again. It's like I said before, Jerry, on again, off again. Very difficult to gonna be one of those days, I think, where the camera fades in and out of darkness and light. Just an overcast kind of day, but you can see behind me now. Texas fights. Can y'all hear that? Jerry, can you hear that a little bit?
A little bit
here and there. All right, hey guys, a couple of news and notes. Jerry, did you go over the stuff that CJ has sent you from earlier? Anything else that's going on? I think he had the news and notes about who traveled and who didn't. Hopefully, he's going to be able to join us here in a little bit. The stadium atmosphere here and the grounds around Michigan are just outstanding. It is indicative of a tremendous atmosphere. The University of Texas, Jerry, and everybody out there. There's somebody just walked by me. There was a there. Okay.
I love it.
Here we go. I've got to say this. There was a tremendous little piece put in the Ann Arbor paper this morning from the University of Texas, talking about how two great universities, the University of Texas bought the ad, talking about how two great universities, public universities in the country, are squaring off today. And it was from the University of Texas administration, and it congratulated Michigan on its national championship in 2023. I put that up there on the site earlier this morning, Jerry and Matt, and it was just a lot of fun. It's good to see that kind of camaraderie. I will say that the fan base here at Michigan, Jerry, very accommodating. You know, not the Ohio States of the world, in my opinion, but more what you would expect if you came to Austin for a game. Typical Texas, hey, how you doing? That kind of stuff. Not the, horns down, all in your face type of stuff as well. All right, let's bring in our CJ Vogel here. CJ, come on in, bud. You're doing a little man on the street for us. You're inside the stadium. Look at that, man. That's beautiful. Tell people what's going on.
Guys, this stadium is gorgeous. It's beautiful weather out here. I mean, we got all sorts of fans filing in. I mean, how are we feeling? We feeling all right? We got some Texas fans up here as well. So we're feeling good. A lot going on right now. About, 2.5 hours till hour and a half till kickoff. Where are we at, Bobby?
Hour and 37 minutes, CJ.
I've been all over the place checking it out. Tailgate was great. The morning walk over here was tremendous as well. The weather, can't even talk about it enough. It's heating up a little bit, Bobby. I'm sure you're feeling it over there as well. But, man, it looks good down here. And they're not lying. It's a big house down here.
Hey, CJ, Bobby, whoever can hear me. People are asking, does somebody ask, are there 20,000 Texas fans there? I don't think there are that many, but anybody got a guess at this point?
I don't know. I feel like 15 to 20 might not be too crazy. I know the tickets into this place, not the cheapest, not the easiest, but man, there's a lot of horns in Ann Arbor, Jerry, that's for sure.
Hey, CJ, you were out and about last night.
Here we go.
Quinn's grandparents. There's Quinn's grandparents. Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, CJ, what was the atmosphere like?
One side of that sign reads Quinn's grandparents rock, and the other one says, "We retired Saban." Quinn, turn it around. Turn it to the other side. We retired Saban. There we go. Good stuff. Thank you. Good stuff. CJ, I got to ask you, your first impression of the big house. I couldn't hear your first answer. What first impression of the big house, buddy?
It's beautiful, Bobby. I mean, you hear about the best venues in all of college football. This is tremendous. They're not lying. It takes, I think it goes 95 rows all the way up to the top. It's all one big bowl, and it looks pretty unassuming. We talked about that yesterday, Bobby. Whenever you're driving on the outside of campus, you see it on the street, and you think, okay, yeah, I see the stadium. But then you see it, and it opens up as you walk down the entrance into the bowl, and my goodness, it's breathtaking. It's beautiful.
Hey, CJ, what was the atmosphere like around town last night? Because I know you were out and about, had dinner, whatnot. What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was buzzing. There's a lot of Orange. A lot of folks are excited for this game, as they should be, right? top 10 matchup for two teams that don't necessarily really ever meet each other, right? In a big game like this, a lot of excitement from all over. I was walking through campus, around the facilities, all over. So many people out and about. Very lively, very friendly up here as well. I'll give them that.
Hey, by the way, a little nugget for everybody here in the chat. Last time Michigan hosted a top 5 non-conference opponent, 1991, FSU won 51-31. So Michigan welcomed Bobby Bowden at about the height of his powers, right? And took one on the chin, gave up 50 in the big house. That's the last time a top 5 non-conference opponent has played in Ann Arbor. So it's been 33 years. And so Texas is first. But one of the things that I thought was cool, right there, Bobby's showing the crowd there, is, and I think there's 500-600 people in this tailgate Bobby's at. The cool thing to me is, because somebody in the chat said the Ewers and his grandparents are there. This is a bucket list trip for the family. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for the family members of the Texas players. So we're seeing unbelievable representation from the Texas players' families in Ann Arbor. It's a very tough ticket to come by. No players had extra tickets for this one. They were all going to family members, and it's a great representation of the families of the Texas players up in Ann Arbor. It's a 65 that made the trip. Hey, CJ, for you sent a picture of the roster over. That was the full roster. Has there not been a depth chart released for today's game?
That was the only one that was available to us. It was just a front and back of both teams. The roster is available. So no true depth chart as we saw week 1 for Texas versus Colorado State. Just the players that made the trip was available for us in the press box today.
All right, guys, I'm going to take a second again for one of our sponsors, and that's Hargrove Roofing. Thank you very much to our friends over at Hargrove Roofing, one of our new sponsors. They're great. Stevie Lee's awesome on Winning Drive on Mondays. With offices all over Louisiana and Arkansas, and of course Texas, including Austin, Hargrove Roofing will take care of all your roofing needs. Plus, they're Longhorn friendly, very much so. With partners like our kicker, Bert Auburn, and former defensive tackle, Stevie Lee, they're the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. Call them today for a free roof inspection. Hargrove Roofing. You know who's on your roof. And again, this about Hargrove Roofing as well. They've been a supporter of Texas football. They had commercials on the Longhorn Network. We're so happy they're part of On Texas Football now. Give them a call. Give them a call. Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof. If you don't know who that guy is, that's Rick Vasquez from Surly Horns there in the picture. I think he's getting Bobby some headphones, which are very much needed today. But again, guys, thank you very much. We're going to be taking your questions. Slick Rick, OTF, I love you guys and quality content you bring. You are like family to me. I think the exact same way, guys. I mean, that's why I'm on the road trying to get the information. We do all this. Longhorn Nation is blessed to have a group this knowledgeable, men like y'all. Let's get fired up and hook them. Thank you very much, Slick Rick. We have a blast. Hey, we got a score prediction here from Derek Weisner. I love it, Derek Weisner. 27-13 Horns. Love that. We got Orange Bloods 21. Has Texas 27-10. CJ, people are asking what the wind's doing. Tommy's asking him, am I in Ann Arbor? No, I'm in the state of Florida. I'm down at Pensacola. I've been on the road all week seeing Texas targets and commitments. Next year, when Texas plays at Georgia and Texas plays at Florida, those are weeks I'm going to use on the road, then be there for game days. But this year, I need to be in the Atlanta area, seeing some kids that Texas recently offered and some defensive line targets, and make my way through Florida, which I'll do once again later in the season.
Hey, Jerry, I've got a few comments or questions on the wind. I hate going to my ear. It makes me look like I got the earpiece in. It's just AirPod, but it is a little breezy. You can see over my other shoulder here, the flags on the uprights not moving all that much. So I did think it was windier this morning, Bobby. I'm not sure if it still is outside of the stadium, but I don't think it'll be that much of an impact for this game and the passing game for the Longhorns this afternoon.
Somebody said Q&A says Chris Webber in the house. Wow. Yeah, it's a big game. I mean, Derek Jeter, Michael Phelps, Chris Webber. It's a big game now. Tyler Large, what happened with Mathis? Look, that's a kid that Walter Mathis committed to LSU last night. And it's a kid that Texas, they'll probably stay in contact with. They're trying to get him on campus. He didn't officially visit Texas. And that was the key. Texas was trying to get in on him. I think he's a tremendous player, by the way, tremendous football player. So we'll see if he continues to make visits. A lot of kids that are committed are taking visits elsewhere. We'll see if anything continues to make headway there. Too broke to pay attention. Oh, by the way, too broke to pay attention. I have Terry committing and one defensive lineman committing once we win today. We'll see on that. A win would definitely kickstart even more momentum on the Texas recruiting front. The one thing I say, though, is these kids in recruitments are also individual nowadays with NIL, the whole process. So we'll have to see how things play out as far as a timeline should Texas win today. It was interesting seeing Mike Norvell last night at the Mandarin game. He's not after Jamie French, guys. He was there to support the quarterback commitment, Tramel Jones, who broke his ankle last week. But I just thought it was interesting seeing Mike Norvell there, knowing that two of their D-line commits are in the balance right now, Myron Charles and Kevin Wynn in Texas. It is the school they could flip to if they flip Kevin Wynn, also considering Georgia.
Guys, I think, can you all hear me now?
I got you, Bobby.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Hey, I actually can hear everybody. Finally, I got some headphones in, like CJ's got. The atmosphere here is absolutely outstanding. I can't tell y'all how much this has been impressive to me. CJ, you were walking around the campus yesterday as well. What did you think of Michigan as a school? It's kind of cool to see a team or a school that I think is very similar to the university.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Bobby. It's very comparable, right? You know, very passionate, very intelligent. The campus was beautiful. The weather's tremendous. I loved what I was able to see just walking through, you know, and you start to see the trees, you start to see the neighborhoods right by the big house. And, you know, it's hard to not try to envision yourself at a school like Michigan. And I know that's tough to say. Obviously, everybody's here, you know, rooting for the Longhorns. But, no, I get it. You know, very comparable. And, again, very accommodating. I've had a great time here in Ann Arbor.
I'm going to answer this real quick. Or you go to Ann Arbor? No, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I'm out seeing top prospects and commitments this week on the road. You know, what's crazy was my thoughts. It's just this is a week I need to be on the road seeing kids, man. But I thought I stopped by University of Georgia 2 days ago, and my thought was next year when Texas plays at Georgia, that'll be my week in Georgia. Okay. Next year when Texas plays at Florida, that'll be my week in Florida, and it's going to work out perfectly. But this year I'm on the road. I'm actually in Pensacola now. Win or lose, I'm going to Floribama later, right, to watch a little SEC football. Win or lose. If you haven't been there, man, it's a great spot.
Hey, Jerry, what other games are you looking forward to today? I know we obviously are here for the big one, but Nebraska, Colorado, you got your eyes on that at all?
Not much. I think, you know, Arkansas at Oklahoma State, an opponent this year, has kind of got my attention a little bit because Arkansas played a cream puff called Pine Bluff last week. That's not the case this week. They're on the road in Stillwater. So a rival of Texas, a team that hates Texas a lot. See what Arkansas looks like against a competent opponent this week. Are they really better? Has Taylor Green made them better? You know they're going to be okay up front. What do they look like with Jaquindon Jackson running the football against Oklahoma State, who has 20 starters back? That's really the game for me. U of H isn't very good, so Oklahoma's not. U of H lost to UNLV 27-7 last week, I believe. So that's really the game for me this week as I'm paying attention to. And look, I watched a little bit of Duke last night. Congrats to Malik Murphy on getting that win over Northwestern. Very big, and Manny Diaz, right? Very big for Manny Diaz and Malik to build some confidence in these first 4 games because those last 8 games are going to be real testers for that Duke offensive line.
It's good stuff. I tell you what, NC State, Tennessee will be an interesting game.
That'll be another.
See what Nico looks like coming in week 2. We got a horns down behind us there, but No, I'm excited for it. There are a lot of good games after this, obviously, banger of an opener that we're expecting here in the next hour and a half.
Hey, big time, Bill. Pass pro is key. I'm telling you guys, I haven't moved off of anything for this game. First down run defense, pass protection. I mean, that is first down run defense for the Texas defense, pass protection for the Texas offense. If Texas pass pros, CJ, I think they'll have success in the passing game. Now, some of that passing game, I think early could be a lot of horizontal passing as an extension of the run game, but pass pro against the Michigan front. If it is really good early, then Martindale has to bring an extra number. And he's going to blitz some, but if the Michigan defensive front handles Texas, then he doesn't have to go to the entire blitz package. He has more freedom. But I'm here to tell you, if Texas pass pros early in this game, it's going to change the way Wink Martindale has to attack.
It absolutely will. I think that's one of the biggest keys to kind of create that separation and space down the field, Jerry, is to, kind of loosen up that box. Obviously, it's going to help the running game as well. But when you look at what Fresno State was able to do down the field, there was success. And I know that they targeted Will Johnson maybe more so than you would have expected coming into that game. But Texas is going to have to keep Will Johnson honest, right? He can't be a guy that locks down a half of the field without ever being tested. Luckily for Texas, again, they have some pretty decent horses in the stable, Jerry, to go test one of the best corners in all of the country. But I do think there will be passing lanes and opportunities for Texas vertically down the field. Again, 8 of 12 on Fresno State a week ago on passes beyond 10 yards. That's not nothing. I know that it didn't go, or there weren't many bugs or explosive plays there. But, hey, Quinn thrives in that range, and I expect them to start cooking there early in this game.
Hey, question here, CJ. We had this yesterday, but let's answer this again. Jared Sawyer, would you take the ball if we win the toss?
I absolutely would. I think the key for Texas here is to get up and get up early. They're able to do that. Michigan can't play their game of time of possession control, running the ball, and kind of dominating the narrative of this football game. Texas gets up 7, and you get a stop, and you go up by 10 or 14, Jerry. 2-possession lead is a disaster spot in my eyes for Michigan in this football game. I think you got to start early, and you got to take that ball to have a chance to create and own the narrative from the get-go.
Obviously, I think it was Coach Shipley who had the stat that the team that scores first in college football wins 82% of the games. Now, of course, that counts the cream puff games, right? Which those teams you could give up an early field goal and still win 52-3. But 82% of the time in college football, the team that scores first wins. Now, I don't have those exact numbers in a Power 4 conference games or matchups in top 10 games. But that was an interesting stat that Coach Shipley threw out. The other thing I would say is I'm normally a proponent of if you win the toss, defer. But I do think in this game it's a little different because the possessions, Michigan wants to choke the possessions. They want Texas to have the least possessions possible. The worst thing that could happen for Texas in this game, in my opinion, early, is if Texas defers and they kick and Michigan has a 14-play, 80-yard drive and eats up half the first quarter right out of the gate. That's the worst thing that could happen. Now, Texas, they've had some rough starts on that first offensive possession, CJ. So if you take the ball, I mean, you had the turnover at Oklahoma right out of the gate. You can't have that. Quinn's got to protect the football on that first drive. Obviously, that first drive cannot be a disaster and give a short field. But I do think the worst thing that could happen for Texas on the road in this game, because it's a contrast in styles, is if you won the toss, deferred, and Michigan went 14-80. And that's the worst thing that could happen because half the first quarter's over.
I agree 100%. And it's a little similar, but you look back 2 years ago against UTSA, right? That was an entire game plan from Traylor. That first drive, 14 plays, 75 yards, it resulted in 3 points, I believe. But at that time, it took off about 10 minutes of the clock. Texas only had about 35 seconds of play time or of time of possession in that first quarter. That can't be the case for Michigan. That plays right into their hands, as you said, Jerry. You have to start early in my eyes. You either got to get a stop right away, or you got to get the ball, put up some points, or flip field position. So I think you take the ball in this game if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, guys. I'm going to take another second here for a sponsor of today's shows. That is Duck Camp. Duck Camp gear is made for the people that live in the moments out there where there are fish to catch, UT boy, birds to hunt, time to kill, football to watch. They like doing all that stuff, so they built a company centered on it, based in Austin, and dedicated to giving people best-in-class hunting and fishing apparel. There are those of you out there that look forward to opening day of hunting season and the kickoff of Longhorn football with the fervor and excitement of a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. That's everybody today, by the way, everybody. And Duck Camp is here to let you know that from opening day to game day, they've got you covered, absolutely covered. At Duck Camp, they believe you can't just sit around and wait for the adventure to come to you. You have to get out there, stay out there, and make the most of every season. Here's the great seasons, y'all. Yes, hunting and football. Shop hunting gear, duckcamp.com. All right, CJ Vogel's showing us the stadium there. That's awesome that CJ's getting a connection there. Bobby lost his connection, been struggling with a connection there in the tailgate, but starting to see some people file in, CJ. We are an hour and about 25 minutes till the kick of this game. Give us two or three keys for you for Texas victory today, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously stopping and run, time of possession, trench play, they'd all come to mind here. Above anything else for Quinn, you got to protect the football. Michigan, I put up some posts earlier in the week on Texas football and Twitter. Michigan likes to jump routes. They like to be aggressive by creating turnovers. Right? They had 2 big plays against Fresno State a week ago. One of them was a pick six by Will Johnson. Jerry, you can't feed this team extra opportunities to control the line of scrimmage, to control that time of possession. It's a recipe for disaster. That was the biggest Achilles heel a year ago in Texas's 2 biggest losses against Oklahoma and Washington. Turnovers. You protect the football today, you win, and I think you win handedly.
Hey, CJ, what is the wind? What's the wind direction? How's it going to affect the kicking game?
Yeah, you can see it very briefly over my shoulder here. The flags on the uprights here. It's not that crazy. You look. I don't know if you can see it up there, but the flags at the top of the stadium are a bit more windier. Punters are going through warm-ups right now, so behind me you'll be able to see, Michael Kern, Ian Ratliff, some of the kickers going through their early morning workouts as well. It's not that big of a factor on the field when that ball gets up in the air, and this could affect Quinn a little bit in the passing game as well in the vertical game. It's not that bad, but it's not nothing, I'll say that. It does pick up at times. Right now you can see the flags on the uprights flailing a little bit heavier now.
So for the people watching that wind is blowing from left to right on CJ's view there. So I don't know which. Obviously, that's probably out of north to the south. I guess that's where this Michigan Stadium faces. I'm not sure the exact 100% direction on which way the stadium faces, but so into that wind will be a bit of an issue. Punting the football more than field goal kicking, unless you're outside 45 yards. It's going to be punt the football. Punts get higher, going to be affected more into that wind, especially if it starts to crosswind a little bit. So talking about Quinn Ewers here on College Game Day, 40 TD passes, 13 interceptions at Texas. So Quinn Ewers, 40 TDs, 13 interceptions at Texas. Big game. Quinn delivered against Alabama last year. And if you think about that game, CJ, last year, Quinn's first real big road game at Texas for me. I mean, it's at Alabama. That's different. Not Oklahoma State. No. Xavier Worthy dropped the touchdown early in that game. So Quinn even had a better day than what you saw in the box score, considering that pass was dropped. But Quinn today, I think the big thing for me with Quinn, more than yards, completion percentage, anything, because this is a good defense, is the play last week where the ball was intercepted. Okay, that ball cannot leave his hand this week in this game. There can't be an Oklahoma moment in this game. He's got to take a 2-yard fall forward and let the field goal happen. If you try to force this week and you turn the ball over, your possessions are going to be limited against Michigan. So it's all about ball protection and decision-making in the pocket for Quinn. If Texas gives him time to throw the football, he's going to make really good short intermediate throws. That's the strength of his game. Yeah. The decision-making before the ball leaves his hand in this game that I think is really key.
Jerry, every kick or every possession that ends with a kick is a good possession in this game, right? And in a game that's going to be built off of field control, where the ball control, where your starting field position is. That's exactly where Texas is able to remain in control. Obviously, Michigan's not an explosive offense. They never really have been. But if you give them short fields, you're going to pay for it. At least make them, if they're going to take time off the clock, make them go 80 or 90 yards to find the end zone to add points to the board. That's going to be key again for Texas. But you're right. You're 100% right on that.
All right, I'm going to take one more second for our last sponsor because we have great sponsors of this Longhorn live stream pregame. Flight is the next generation of light beer with only 95 calories. It's an upscale light beer designed to elevate the customer experience. With more taste and just 4.2 carbs, Flight is an easy-to-drink beer with a crisp taste. Try Flight from Yuengling. It's one of my go-tos. Love it. Thank you very much to the guys that sponsor us at On Texas Football with Yuengling Flight. Thank you very much. We're going to take a few more questions here. We're going to be on air maybe about 10 more minutes. Let CJ get back to what he's doing pregame. Bobby was with us, internet having all sorts of connection issues there. Kevin Alexander, totally agree. Take the points this week. You know why it's so important to take the points too? LSU USC last Sunday, CJ. LSU wins the kick or wins the toss, takes the ball, drives it all the way down the field and goes for it on 4th and 3 and doesn't get any points. Take the points. These guys don't take the points enough in college football anymore. They're going for jugulars. I love what Sark said in his Monday press conference. I think it was, CJ. I know all the analytics, the books, and he was talking about all that. He said, but there's a certain feel and instincts to coaching. I feel like we're losing that sometimes, and players even at times within games making decisions. Take the points in this game. We may have lost CJ there.
Sorry, say that again, Jerry.
I was like, the USC LSU game was a perfect example of take the points. Take the points. LSU drives it all the way down, goes for it on 4th and 3. Nothing. Goose egg to start. That's a win for a USC defense that was terrible last year. They already gained. I feel like what Sark said Monday was so intelligent. He said, I know the analytics. I know the book. I know all this. But he said, you got to go on feel and instincts as a coach. And I'm so glad to hear Sark say that because I think he will take the points. If he gets in that scenario and what LSU did last week, I know it was a neutral site game. I think Sark will take the points in this game. I think I love the way he thinks about this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You can point to a year ago against Houston, right, Jerry? Texas up 21-0 in that game. They go for a fake field goal. They go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. It changes the game, the complexion 100%. All that momentum flips straight to Houston's side for almost no reason, right? You don't need to do that. You don't need to be fancy when you're up by 3 scores. You add points to the board there. Hey, now it's a 4-possession game. Before you know it, it's a 21-21 game. You never know when little moments flip momentum and the whole feel and complexion of a football game. I'm with you 100%. Anytime in a game like this against a top 10 opponent on the road that you're able to add your score tally, you do it. I think you take the points every opportunity you can.
Hey, but it's a funny comment from Casey. CJ, that's Ohio State Stadium, man.
Hey, Jerry, I'll tell you what. At the tailgate this morning, some Michigan fans had an Ohio State hoodie on outside of their tailgate. They said it was their doormat to get into their tailgate. So every Michigan fan, as they were walking in, was stomping a little bit on the Ohio State hoodie. They don't like him. Pretty clear. Yeah,
hey, Texas Jasper, I agree with this. Unless we're outside the 30 into the win, that's a rough 50-yard field goal. I think I think 45, 47-yard field goals is going to be – after that's going to be tough sledding today, obviously, into that wind. That's going to be tough. If you need a 53-yarder to win the game, man, your odds aren't really good either way on that. Michigan's got a really good – both kickers in this game are tremendous, 2 of the best in college football. Donald Britt says this. Quinn says he has a little bit of anger at Michigan because he was on that team from up north. I guess he's talking about the time at Ohio State, and Urban called Michigan the team up north. But yeah, this is a interesting game for Quinn. Look, Quinn grew up a Texas fan, though, man. He was at Ohio State a few months, and he got the experience a little bit. But I think for Quinn today, this is a look. Every time Quinn takes the field this year for Texas, he grew up with the pictures. He was a Longhorn, right, from birth. Family's Longhorns. So it's twofold for Quinn this year. He was big. His transfer to Texas was huge for Sarkisian, helping turn this program around along with that offensive line class in 2022, who should be all grown up now, right? But this is every time he takes the field, one, it's for his Texas pride this year. Two, it's for his NFL draft stock. There are only a certain amount of games Quinn has left in his college career. These are huge moments for him. Michigan, Oklahoma, Georgia, even at A&M against their defensive front. We'll see what they're like at the end of the year. But these are games that solidify draft stock for Quinn Ewers. And it also solidifies draft stock for the Michigan defensive guys. Last week, CJ, Will Johnson didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game. He gave up 5 for 83 or 6 for 90. He had to pick 6, but he didn't have a great game. This is a game where you need your best players to make the biggest plays, and this is where draft stocks are solidified today.
I'm with you. You got to have your big players stand up, and especially in a game like this, those big players are big humans, Jerry, as well. So a big opportunity for Cam Williams, who I put up a note on Non-Texas Football just now, how many NFL scouts are in attendance for this game. They're all out. The press box is packed. They're down on the field right now watching warm-ups. But for Cam Williams, I think this is a great test for him. Texas needs him to be good, but for Quinn especially, to pivot back to him, you start talking about what it means for the NFL. What does it mean for his legacy at Texas?
That's right.
You had that big win on the road against Alabama a year ago. If you're able to do that again here in Ann Arbor, you're one of the best road quarterbacks Texas has ever seen, right? Should you play well and you come away with the win. That's pretty remarkable, but a great test for him to impress against NFL-level talent all over the place again.
Yeah, no doubt, CJ. I mean, look, that's a major thing for Quinn, right? Is when he got to Texas, obviously they were in a rebuild mode under Steve Sarkisian. Went to 8-5 and 12-2. Is Quinn going to is he going to be the winningest Texas quarterback of all time? Of course not. But I will say this for Quinn, because he didn't come to Texas at that time when it was loaded. But I'll say this for Quinn. Like you said, this is a huge opportunity for him today. If he leaves Texas after this year, if Texas can get back to a playoff and he could win at Bama and at Michigan, man, that is leaving a legacy at Texas a little bit. And I know fans are like, no, national championship. Well, we'll see. I mean, Colt McCoy didn't get a national championship. He's a great football player. But I think this is a huge game for Quinn today and this Texas team. The one thing I've been saying is about this game, CJ, is Michigan. If Texas offensive line can give Quinn time, and we're not talking deep shots against Michigan. Michigan, they're going to keep everything in front of them because they're going to respect the speed of Texas. But Michigan lost a lot of playmakers in the secondary. Sanastrell was a stud playmaker. Keon Sapp transfers to Bama. Ron Moore's out with an ACL. There's opportunities for Texas if they pass pro today. I mean, if Texas offensive line holds up, if they play like one of the top 3 offensive lines in the country, I think Scart's going to scheme it up. And I think the Texas wide receivers are going to have an opportunity to make plays. So this is huge for Quinn Ewers today to have the opportunity. His offensive line gives him the opportunity to make plays in the passing game because I think the plays will be there to be made.
Yeah, the offensive line has to give them time. They also have to create running lanes, Jerry. And, at times against Colorado State, there weren't great running lanes. I thought Texas ran the ball well, maybe not at the consistency in which you would have expected in a week one with an offensive line that returned 4 out of 5, right? Cam Williams played well, obviously the co-offensive lineman of the week in the SEC. This is a bit of a different monster, especially with those 2 guys up front. Michigan, again, very talented edge guys in this room. It's going to be a great test, and you're going to know a lot about this Texas team about a quarter into this football game and what they're going to be for 2024. Real quick, again, a few more of the specialists are walking out onto the field right now. Texas in the icy whites, looking pretty solid, Jerry. I'm not going to lie. A lot of burnt orange filling in behind me. You can see a fellow over my shoulder here. Jerry, there's one tunnel at Michigan,
Yeah.
and it's on the away side. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I ever really realized that watching their games before, but the Texas sideline will be the side with the tunnel. I know I forget where the game was against Michigan State where they had the little spat in the tunnel, but that's interesting. It kind of threw me for a loop there.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up now. We're going to let you guys get to Fox Big Noon kickoff, College Game Day. Get ready for the game. We're an hour and about 10 minutes away, but I wanted to let you guys know after the game, immediately after the game, it'll be Bobby Burton from a hotel room, Rod Babers, and Tony Hills with the post game. CJ, myself, will have video stuff as well from the game. But again, Texas fans, hour and 10 minutes away. Thank you for joining in this morning. Sorry that Bobby lost a connection there at the Texas tailgate. Thank you for your continued support of On Texas Football. Thank you, CJ, for being on the scene, and we will talk to you here in a little while.